Hey guys, King of Charmanders here. Today I bring you the best meta Driftsmelting event ever. 400 plus live Driftsmelts for Focus and Charge Master, as this video documents my Driftstone K event grind. And this was the best Driftsmelt Bonanza factually to date because we had 2 exclusive meta skills. Niantic heard me when they said I said Focus would never be smelted, but you know what, here we go. They allowed it, so for you, everyone, including myself, I wouldn't say this was the best personal experience as it took hours and hundreds of smelts of grinding in order to get all of this done. But you know what, if you're credible, you're credible, so here we go. First, we're going to start out with my Driftsmelt K gear goal chart. Alright, before you do anything, before you try to Driftsmelt anything, you gotta plan for it. Otherwise, it's a waste of time, and you're probably going to smelt into something on accident, so you need to be really careful. So, the game plan you see here, I have the entire list of what I was planning to go after. With 5 double exclusive skill pieces. What this means, I was going to go for both Focus and Charge Master for these 5 pieces. It was going to be painful. I didn't expect to get super lucky, but you know what? In hopes it would happen. Along with 6 single exclusive skill pieces for Charge Master. The 5 doubles I was looking for was the Azarathlos Helmet, the Nightshade Palumu Mail, the Kushala Deor Van Braces, Baetotis Van Braces, and Gyrototis Van Braces. This gives me 4 triple focus for all pieces, and Charge Master worked really well with all of them, as far as the builds go. For the singular pieces, I had the Pink Rothian Mail for Charge Master, Devil Joe, Ebony Odo Gary Greaves, Silverathlos Helmet, Azarathlos Fan Braces, and the Silverathlos Greaves. These were 2 full Driftsmelts builds, the Dragon and Critical Element Bow builds. I wasn't going to go after Melee just because I was going to wait for something else, and I don't use Melee that much anyways as far as Critical Element. So, because of that, I was just going to go for the bow ones. And these were the most optimal pieces for me to go for with upcoming content and predicting future Driftsmelt metas. Instead of going super ham and getting everything, I predicted that there are some pieces, the next Driftsmelt event, they haven't done the remake they were talking about, the overhaul and rework, so I wasn't going to go for everything that you should technically go for. I wasn't going to go for the water and the ice Charge Master builds for Kushala and Namiel just because I wanted to wait, because the Dragon one we're going to use for Brute Tigrex and Malzeno, and for Critical Element, just overall, it's the greatest flex build as far as bows. So, yes, make sure you plan, make sure you listen to someone credible, because when you say 400 Driftsmelts, or for some of you, it was probably even worse, it is insanely painful. And now let's bring on the pain, starting off with the first piece, the Azarathlos Helm. So the goal is both Focus and Charge Master took 10 smelts, with Focus taking 10 more smelts. That was stupid lucky, as it only took 20 smelts for me to finish 2 exclusive skills. So this is probably the only time. When this happened, I got really excited, but again, I predicted itself. You know what? This is probably the only time it's going to happen, or maybe it'll happen again, hopefully. And next up, we have the second piece, the Gyrototis Greaves. Notice, the faster I make these Driftsmelt clips, the more it took. Just to put that out there. So the goal was both Focus and Charge Master. Focus took only 28 smelts, while Charge Master took 32 more smelts. In total, if you put that number together, it was 60 total smelts to finish for 2 exclusive skills. This was yucky. And I used 1 Drift Gem, which actually didn't have mercy on me. It gave me Focus again. So there's something I'm going to call Dead Smelts. What I call Dead Smelt is basically the same skill that I don't actually need. And for some reason, I got Focus a lot for this round. So Focus times 4, including 1 Drift Gem. This is when I knew this was going to be ultra painful. Having so many dead Focus smelts and sacrificing 1 Drift Gem, I was like, hey, yay. And I was like, this is an example right here. I'm like, are you serious? Like, this is dumb. This is really dumb. Like, no. And then when I fired it again, I got Charge Master, and I was like, wow, that was really lucky. But the pain stopped at 60, so you know what? I'm pretty happy with the fact this happened. Moving on to the third piece, we have the Kushala Van Braces. The goal, of course, was both Focus and Charge Master. Focus took 1 Drift Gem, and Charge Master took 17 more smelts. I actually got super lucky this round. So I used 1 Drift Gem to get Focus, And I actually did 17 smelts after to finish for 2 exclusive skills. This was mega lucky with no dead smelts. So I didn't actually get a focus or more this time around. I was super happy. But again, you never bank on this happening again. So I got ultra lucky this time around. Not having any dead smelts was an absolute blessing. As you see here, I got Charge Master and focus. And it didn't take more than 20. So I was like super happy. But, you know, after happiness usually comes a whole lot of pain. So you probably guess what's happening next. As for the next piece, we move on to number 4, the Silver Rathalos helmet. The goal was just Charge Master. I just wanted Charge Master. Charge Master took 48 smelts. 48 for one total for just one exclusive skill. It was absolutely disgusting. And I got 1 dead smelt, which was a focus smelt. So having only 1 dead smelt out of 48 was terrible. This was terrible for One Piece. I was actually surprised I only got 1 dead smelt for focus, which means I didn't see a single exclusive skill. I only saw 2 in between 48. So my motivation was just, I was like, man, dude, you know, after getting lucky, it's always like, okay, lucky and then pain. Lucky and then pain. And then you're going to probably see even more pain later on. But yeah, this was just like mind-numbing for me to see. I was like, wow, this sucks. But if you choose to go down this rabbit hole of hell for going after Driftsmelts, for all these skills, you already know, if you have experience, that this is hell. So we must embrace the suck as I move on to Azarathalos Vambraces at number 5. The goal was only Charge Master. You know how much it took me to get Charge Master? It took 83 smelts. Do you see how fast this is going? I have these clips at 10 times speed, and they just keep on going faster and faster. You know what's pretty cool? If you look at the bottom right, you can actually see the number going up for my charge, just because. Yeah, it took, holy fatalis, it took 83 with 4 dead smelts. To put in perspective, at least I saw 4 dead smelts, which I didn't know if that makes it even more demotivating for you, or the fact that, like, you're just like, wow, it almost took 100 to get the skill I wanted on this thing. This was clearly the worst piece I have ever smelted. I think my record before this one was actually in the 70s for the previous Driftsmelt event. So this one took the cake for my record for the longest and most painful smelt. This basically, if you want to put in perspective, this is buying almost like 2 packs of the 50 Driftsmelting insta-smelts and like having 17 left. That really sucks. So yeah, this was very, very painful and it made me want to cry. Not really, I wasn't going to actually cry, but my soul was crying. Speaking of suck, if you thought episode 1 was terrible, episode 2 was even better. You know, it's like the Star Wars series. If you watch Star Wars, episode 1 was really good. I loved it. I watched it when I was a kid. Episode 2, the Clone Wars, that was actually pretty dang cool. Loved it a lot. And with that being said, we bring on to number 6 for the episode 2 of extremely painful smelting. This was actually the second longest one. The goal was for the Nightshade Paloma Mail for both Focus and Charge Master. Focus took 1 Drift Gem. I used a Drift Gem because I was getting over. You only have 200 charges in max, so you have to make sure you use them before the Drift Gem. It took 73 more smelts. 73 total to finish for 1 exclusive skill, the Mother of Garen Gold. And for the dead smelts, I had 4 focus dead smelts with 1 Drift Gem. I was like, wait, what? This was mind-numbing. I was praying for Charge Master for that Drift Gem. It just didn't happen. Right after breaking my record for wanting 1 skill, it comes back in 2nd place, nearly matching my previous record. I think my previous record was like 71. Without Drift Smelting the skill I wanted, I was like, wow. So basically 100 plus, and I only got 2 pieces done for what I wanted. This was garbage. This was absolute trash. This was basura. But you know what? It's what it is. However, I did move on to lucky number 7, the Silver Rathalos Greaves. 7 is my lucky number. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll get lucky this time. The goal is Charge Master. And Charge Master took 26 smelts, where I used 1 Drift Gem, which ended up being a dead smelt for focus, as you see right here. The total was 27 smelts to finish for 1 exclusive skill. Got that dead smelt, like I mentioned, the focus one, using a Drift Gem. And honestly, this wasn't bad at all. Even though the Drift Gem was a dud, less than 30 smelts to get Charge Master actually motivated me. After the last 2 results, there's no way I was going to be totally ungrateful. I was like, thank you, Harden Jesus, for blessing me for this 1 smelt. Thank you, thank you, thank you. speaking of thank yous, this is when the fatigue usually starts sinking in, the drift smelting fatigue, you know, the instant smelting. As I move on to number 8, the Biototus fan braces. The goal was both Focus and Charge Master, and Focus took 29 smelts, while Charge Master only took 5 more smelts. In total, it was 34 smelts to finish 2 exclusive skills. The Dead Smelt was only 1 Focus. You're gonna see it right here. I got this focus, and I was like, oh man, are you serious? I'm like, I thought it was gonna be episode 3, return to 4 focuses. But you know what? This actually wasn't bad at all, because literally a little bit after, I get Charge Master, and I was like, thank you. I was like, literally in my car, I was like, please, I just want Charge Master. As soon as I said that, I'm not even kidding. I look at my screen, I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? You know, sometimes we just get trolled with these results. Just like this. So my number 9 piece was actually the Pink Rothy Mail. The goal was Charge Master, and Charge Master actually took 1 Drift Gem. I tried to smelt 14 times before this, so I just tried a Drift Gem to roll luck. I was like, you know what? Let me just try a Drift Gem, and maybe I'll get Charge Master. Because of this, I got no dead smelts. Thank you, God. And the only time I got what I wanted was 1 Drift Gem this cycle. Literally, this was the only time I got Charge Master or the other skill I needed. As you see right here, bam, Charge Master. I was so happy. I was like, wow. This makes me very happy. But you know, all good things must come to an end. As I get to number 10, the Ebony Odogaron Greaves. The goal was just Charge Master, and Charge Master took 44 smelts, with a total of 45 smelts to finish 1 exclusive skill. And I had 1 dead smelt, which was Focus. I got it early on and started raging, because when you only see 1 exclusive skill, I feel like that luck chain just starts dying. And it was painful, but not as painful as other attempts on this list. I was just happy it was almost over because I only had 1 more piece to go after this one. The problem was is I already used up all my exclusive like gem smelt or instant smelt packs, so I started having to get like buy them by the like 5s, and I was like, man, I really hope the last one is really easy, because this is really sucks. However, although it was booty, I knew this was for a purpose, because you know what? When you have 11 pieces to Driftsmelt and all these skills you want to, you're just gonna have to deal with it. The goal was Charge Master for the 11th piece, which was the Devil Joe Coil. It took 31 smelts to finish 1 exclusive skill, and I got no dead smelts, so I was actually pretty happy about that. I'd rather not see one. And honestly, this wasn't bad at all. I'm glad it only took that much for 1 skill, because it could have easily taken 80 or more like the previous ones. So I was so happy. When I was done, I was like, oh, thank you. I am finished. I am done. Let's go. Let's go. This was booty. But at the end of the day, this is all for the love of the game. Because it took over 450 smelts to get everything I needed. I didn't even look at, I already had the gold Driftsmelt medal before this. I didn't even want to look at my medal after this. Actually, I'm going to look at it a little bit and probably cry a little bit of my soul. And hopefully the next Driftsmelt Bonanza has the Driftsmelt rework. They said they were going to do this. I'm hoping the next one already finally puts it in. As adding more skills to the pool like Special Insurance, Shared Sword, and Shield makes this feel worse. Even though there's factually hidden variables in there, that's only from the file, as exclusive skills are 3.3% and the rest are 5%. If you do it in general math, it doesn't make any sense. But based on all these results, yes, those results are really that low. So yeah, this displays the importance of listening and to someone credible and actually showing their work. I am literally the only English creator, top one, that shows this. And even in the like Asia side, for all the Asian content creators I create, they don't really show this, and I wouldn't show it either. I can only imagine how much they spend, because yeah, they kill us as far as revenue goes. But yeah, unless someone's showing you all this, please don't listen to them, because they're probably not going after those builds themselves, and they're probably not spending money for insta smelts. That, or they're spending a lot of time not playing legit, because, you know, if you're spoofing around, then yeah, it would be easy for you to fill these kilometers. But no, instant smelting just faster. I want my instant gratification and just to get this done as soon as possible so I can do other things. With that being said, please do each a huge favor, like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. I hope your future smelts. I hope you guys had an easier time than I did. This was extremely painful, so hopefully you guys got everything you needed, and you didn't go as crazy as I did, but if you did, hopefully you got it way earlier than I did for these results. I wish you the best of luck in your grinds. I hope Brute Tigrex is treating y'all well and giving you all the drops you need, and I will see y'all on the next video.